Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Jessica squints her eyes and bites down on her pinkish lower lip. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Jessica smiles, wrinkles forming around the corners of her mouth. She shakes her head down and chuckles. Darling, what's the matter? What is going on in that big head of yours? She gets up from her leather office chair and walks to her husband to squeeze his large, cold hands. Jessica's husband has never been so melancholy on December 24th. I'm worried, he shares. About what? Tonight. Jessica was alarmed by her husband's words. In the 4 centuries, her husband has been delivering presents and joy to children all around the world. She has never heard him say those words. What is there to worry about? The elves are organized. Everyone has been getting along. The reindeer are so excited for tonight and full of energy. Rudolph's nose is shining brighter than ever. I think we could shut off the headlights on the sleigh to save energy. Jessica, it's not that. Is it him? What? The Grinch? I do not know what he's up to right now. Jessica searches for the answer in her husband's eyes, but all she sees is her reflection. She drops his hands. Now you are starting to worry me. You need to tell me what is going on, Jessica says sternly. I simply do not know. I just feel unusual. Is it me? Jessica asks. Nicholas doesn't answer. Mr. Claus? Mr. Claus? Jeannie the elf asks aggressively. Nicholas perks up from his dazed state and looks around. All the elves have stopped their work activities to observe the overweight man, normally jolly, sulk in his sleigh. The elves exchange hushed whispers, coated in concern. Not only is this moment instilling fear in them, but the Christmas operation is running behind. Why have you stopped? We need to get going. We need to be in New Zealand in 9 minutes, Nicholas yells. The elves shake at the thunderous volume of his voice and immediately finish packing the last few presents into his enormous red bag and feeding the reindeer their carrots. Nicholas has been delivering presents, or coal for the naughty children, for a few hours now. By the time Nicholas and the reindeer got to Amsterdam, Rudolph's nose was getting dimmer, and he was feeling slight fatigue. But they had to keep going. Nicholas was not singing holiday tunes as they flew in the crisp, frigid air in Croatia. He even dropped the wrong present, a gaming console, in the wrong house in Nigeria, and had to fly back to little Kemi's house to switch it with the correct one, a skateboard. The reindeer could sense the disorganization and gloominess from Nicholas. Nicholas knew that tonight was more delicate than usual because he was making mistakes for the first time in centuries. His stomach was full of nerves and milk and cookies. 11:55 p.m. CST, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Nicholas rolls forward and lands on his feet in an upright position, like an Olympic gymnast. His chunky black boots leave faint imprints on the beige carpet. The Christmas lights are still on inside the Elodzi family home, providing light to guide him towards the Christmas tree. He places 3 gifts: a bicycle for Kechi, 8, a basketball hoop for Leon, 10, and a limited edition comic book for Josiah, 12. Nicholas smiles. A sense of peace washes over him, a feeling he has not felt all day. Josiah is the oldest, and he recently started to lose vision in his right eye. It has changed how he plays with his friends and how he learns his favorite subjects in school. But he was an exceptionally good boy this year. He deserves that comic book. That's what it's all about for Nicholas. Bringing joy to children. Nicholas looks around the cozy living room, looking for cookies and milk. With nothing in sight to quench his thirst or hunger, he walks towards the kitchen. This family is well off, he thinks to himself. Big white cabinets, stainless steel appliances, large square footage, pristine, clean, quiet. Milk and cookies wait for him on the large rectangular wooden dining table. Nicholas sips on the milk. He can see the family's new silver barbecue grill sitting outside the back door through the sliding door windows. The right side of the sliding door looked damaged. The white siding is bent and cracked, so much for pristine. As he put the tall glass of milk down, his head became hot. Sweat started to form from underneath his red hat. Something is not right, he thought. The milk was hot, steaming as if someone had just warmed it up just before he got there. Police! Put your hands where we can see them. Before Nicholas could turn around, he was tackled to the ground by an unknown man. Get off of me! He screams in agony. Nicholas, unable to lift his head to see ahead of him, hears more footsteps. An army of footsteps come from several positions in the kitchen. Doors swing open. Wooden chairs are toppled over. Bright flashlights illuminate his face. Nicholas feels his breath weaken and starts heaving. All right, officer. No need to suffocate him, a voice says. Nicholas feels a weight lift off his back and is finally able to lift his head. Officers dressed in thick, dark-colored bulletproof vests, masks, weapons, and boots surround the kitchen. St. Nicholas, you are under arrest for trespassing, breaking and entering, animal abuse, and violating the labor code. 2 officers appear beside him to bring him to his feet and start to cuff his hands behind his back. These are preposterous claims, Nicholas exclaims. Sir, anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to remain silent. I am not a criminal. I am Santa Claus. Nicholas wiggles frantically in his cuffs. If you arrest me, millions of children will not get their Christmas presents. I need to finish my job. Can I speak to your superior? Who is responsible for placing these charges against me? A sinister silence comes. The officers turn their faces away. from the now red-faced Nicholas towards a corner of the kitchen. The pantry, it opens with a creak, and a quiet, cold breeze sweeps through the kitchen. A trapped cry can be heard in the large pantry. Nicholas's eyes cannot believe what he is seeing. A mother, stepfather, and 3 kids, the Alozi family, are bound together, not with the joyful spirit of Christmas, but by dry, brown rope. Their mouths taped shut. Not a word from their lips, but their eyes do the talking. Desperation and fear reeks from the sweat that covers their heads. Nicholas screams and tries to free himself from the restraint of the handcuffs, but the officers hold him back. "I wouldn't try that if I were you," a familiar voice sounds, but Nicholas cannot quite put a finger on it. The unknown figure's boots make loud thuds on the floor as they walk closer to Nicholas. The other officers part themselves like the Red Sea and make way for them. A cap shades her face in the low-lit kitchen, but Nicholas can make out her shiny, blonde hair. "Cindy!" She slowly lifts her head. "Hello, Santa Claus?" "Cindy Lou, what is the meaning of all of this?" Nicholas asks. "Little Cindy Lou, who, from Whoville, sports a black jumpsuit and an unauthorized police badge. Her eyes are black with deceit and evil. A distant image from the small girl who loved Christmas. Cindy, please, remember the day the Grinch stole Christmas? How painful that was for you and your town. Imagine the millions of children experiencing the same thing this Christmas right now. Is that what you want?" Nicholas pleads. Cindy leans closer to Nicholas. "It's not about what I want, Claus. Are these officers even legitimate? Cindy Lou, answer me. And why tie this poor family up on Christmas Eve?" The eyes of the smallest Alozi child, Keiichi, beg for freedom. "Actually," Cindy Lou checks her watch, "it's Christmas Day, and it's about what he gets." Nicholas smells a grisly scent, and immediately his eyes open wide. A masked figure appears from a clump of officers. He gently removes his mask and reveals his skin, all green, and teeth, all yellow with termites. "I should have known better," Nicholas whispers to himself. "Merry Christmas, Santa Claus." Nicholas is enraged. Veins start to pop from his neck. Why so sad, Santy? What happened to the holly jolly fat man with a white beard that everyone knows and loves? Let me go, now. No, 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 no can do, Santy. Nicholas uses his large body to push the officers, if they even are real Canadian authorities, off him. They fall to the ground, but Nicholas is still surrounded by several angry officers, ready to take him down. Cindy waves her gloved finger, instructing the officers to pounce on Father Christmas. A struggle ensues, and Nicholas is forced to the ground again. He fights with all his will, yelling and kicking with the most power an almost 2,000-year-old man could. "Stop resisting," one officer demands. "You need to comply, sir." another one says. Punch his fat belly if you need to. Or even better, kick his head, Cindy commands. Nicholas weakly lifts his head, and his fearful eyes drift towards the vile, green-skinned monster beside Cindy. He shows all his 55 crooked, revolting teeth. A bad banana. Suspect has his hand on a weapon, the monster shouts. Nicholas furrows his bushy eyebrows in confusion. He thinks to himself, I do not have my hand on a green Glock 17 appears between Nicholas's eyes, and it fierce with a deafening rumble. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, the Grinch hollers, falling to conclusions. Fear can make you do crazy things. Cry, laugh, scream, even kill. At this precise moment, it is causing a man named Joe to run for his life. It is also causing 7 members of an unknown faction to chase him. Joe doesn't know where he is going, only that he has to get away. His chest pulses in and out as his body tries to drag in air to compensate for all the running. His legs ache as he pushes them to go faster. A voice in his head urges him on. We need to go faster. Shut up. You think I don't know that? It's your fault we're running in the first place. Gosh, a guy can't have a little fun. You killed those guys. Correction, you killed those guys. As far as anyone else knows, I am just a figment of your imagination. Besides, now you can be certain that the men who killed your family have been punished for their actions. I didn't need your help. The police would have handled it. Now these guys are chasing us. Less complaining, more running. Joe continues sprinting through the autumn-colored trees, looking for an escape. As he taps into his second wind, he sees sunlight beaming down ahead. He gets to a bright clearing, a good distance ahead of his pursuers. The beginnings of a sigh of relief melt into a sigh of despair. On the other side of the very narrow leaf-filled clearing is a very wide, rock-filled gorge. He skids to the edge, kicking a few dozen leaves over the edge. Gasping for air, with his hands on his knees, he watches as the leaves slowly pinwheel out of sight. A good 1,000-foot drop followed by slopes of jagged rock. I'll definitely feel that in the morning. We could make it. Shut up. No, we can't. I could make it. Well, I can't. He takes a step back and puts his hands behind his back as he tries to catch his breath. As he turns around, a single man wearing green, brown, and black fatigues skids into the clearing. He sees Joe and raises his assault rifle. The gun trembles slightly as the soldier trains it on him. Joe watches as the nervous soldier's finger tightens slightly on the trigger. A single bead of sweat slides down the soldier's forehead as he begins to talk. We're gonna need you to come with us. I'm afraid I can't do that. That's right. Tell him. We aren't going anywhere with him. Puh, please, we're not gonna hurt you. I find that hard to believe. If I remember correctly, you guys were shooting at me not too long ago. Come on, there's only one of him. We can take him. We just want to talk to you. Do some tests, ask some questions. What if you don't like what you hear? What if your tests and your questions don't get you the answers that you want? What then? Huh? Why haven't we killed him yet? Would you shut up already? Who are you talking to? Nobody, okay? I think I'll decline. Wow, I didn't think you had it in ya. That is not an option! A different voice booms from within the trees. The rest of the group bursts into the clearing, all wearing matching fatigues. Their assault rifles are all trained on him. Just answer me one question. Why do you have to be able to explain everything? Why do you have to know how everything works? Joe yells with tears of anger welling up in his eyes. Are you crying? What a baby. How about less crying and more killing? If it isn't normal, let's chase it down and shoot at it with automatic weapons and force it to cooperate. Find out how it works by any means necessary. You people disgust me. If you don't kill them soon, I will. Would you shut up already, sir? I don't know who you are talking to, but we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Well, as my mother always said, if it's not hard, then it is not worth doing. Whoa, what are you doing? They are looking for a reason to kill us. If they kill me, you die too. As Joe says this, he slowly takes his hands from behind his back. A 40-inch, sleek, razor-sharp, black katana is held firmly in each hand. As they see the blades, their fingers squeeze the triggers. Volleys of bullets fly towards Joe, each trying to reach the target first. His swords move lightning fast as he takes into account where on his body they are aiming and tries to deflect as many bullets as possible. Despite his efforts, he's breathing through a couple new holes by the time they need to reload. They watch anxiously as Joe stumbles forward. The sword in his left hand sticks into the ground and keeps him from falling all the way to the ground. He leans heavily on the sword as ragged, shallow breaths tear out of him. Dark red blood stains his shirt and pants in various places. He sways, but manages to stand, leaving the sword embedded in the ground. He tries to look at them, but the 7 soldiers double into 14. He shakes his head and tries again, but the 14 soldiers are now swimming in front of his vision. He settles on focusing on the group as a whole, seeing the forest, not the trees. Did I pass the test? Oh well, my answer is still no. If you want my body, you'll have to fetch it. Joe slurs. You are seriously losing it. You are going to get us killed. No, don't! Joe spreads his arms and falls backwards off of the cliff. The soldiers dash to the edge and see him falling. He watches as the edge of the cliff and their faces shrink away from him. The wind whips his clothes wildly as it accelerates past him. He closes his eyes, slows his breathing, and concentrates. Suddenly, the sound of the wind slows and then stops. He opens his eyes and sees that he is now floating in mid-air. A faint glow and a quiet hum emanates from his left hand. He looks down and sees that about 5 feet under him is one particularly sharp shard of black rock that would have ended up right through his chest. He also notices that his vision has blacked out on the edge. Something was wrong. What did you do? I took over. It's obvious that you were on a suicide mission with that little stunt you pulled. I did too much work to get this body to just let you destroy us like this. He contemplates his grisly death for a second before reorienting himself. Using the power from his hands, he zooms back up towards the cliff edge. His head pops up over the ridge as the 7 soldiers are leaving the clearing. They walk slowly and lackadaisically back into the trees in a single file line. Apparently, his guaranteed death is good enough for them. His anger intensifies with this nonchalant disregard for him as a person. The fact that they don't really care about retrieving the body pisses him off. They even left his sword exactly where it got stuck in the ground. The nails on his right hand dig into his palm as his grip tightens on the sword. The angry look on his face morphs into a grin. He is going to enjoy what is about to happen. He floats back onto the cliff and lands silently on the ground. He quietly picks up his second sword and zips to the soldier, bringing up the rear. In one swift moment, he puts one sword through his back and uses the second sword to separate his head from his body. The head spins wildly as it tumbles into a nearby pile of leaves. He pushes the soldier's body out of the way and heads towards the second soldier. The second soldier gets cut down in one stroke, starting from his right shoulder and ending at his left hip. As the top half of the body slides away diagonally from the bottom half, Joe sees that the other soldiers have become aware of his presence. Their eyes widen and their mouths hang open as they realize the man that they thought was dead is still very much alive. Joe uses the moment of hesitation to close in. The third soldier is split vertically in half as Joe brings the sword right up through the middle of him, splitting him in half like a deli sandwich. He steps through the space the third soldier's body once occupied and heads toward the fourth soldier. He rams both swords into the soldier's abdomen and sees the soldier's eyes widen with pain. He pulls both swords in opposite directions, shredding the soldier's midsection. He lifts his foot and kicks the soldier, sending his body to the ground with a thump. 4 down, 3 to go. The remaining 3 soldiers spread out and raise their assault rifles. Not this time, Joe snarls at them. Not like this. It was never supposed to be like this. He spins the swords one time in his hands as he steps over the 4th soldier's quickly cooling body. Raising the swords in his hands, he throws them at the 2 outside soldiers. Both soldiers are struck between the eyes before they even get off a shot. The force of the swords knock them both backwards. One of the swords plunges into the ground, propping the 5th soldier's body up at a 15-degree angle. Gravity slowly pulls the body down the blood-soaked blade. The other blade pins the 6th soldier head first to the gnarled trunk of a nearby tree. This time, gravity works quicker and splits his skull as his body slumps to the ground. Joe, now weaponless, bravely strides toward the last soldier. As the final soldier goes to shoot, Joe grabs the end of his gun and quickly shoves it up. The single shot the soldier gets off intertwines with the painful crunch of bones as the gun sight collides with his nose. The shot flies harmlessly into the air above their heads. The final soldier stumbles backwards, struggling to pull air through his bloodied nostrils. The strap attached to the rifle, still in Joe's hand, keeps him from falling. Joe pulls the barrel of the gun down a couple of inches and jams it under the soldier's chin. The soldier is still dazed from his new breathing impairment and doesn't even realize what is happening. The automatic fire perforating his brain quickly takes care of his need to breathe. Joe's grin widens into a smile as he looks at his work. They were right to fear me, Joe thinks to himself. Not like this. He prepares to go retrieve his swords when a mysterious pain stops him in his tracks. His head feels like it is about to split open. He slams his eyes shut, trying to not pass out. When he reopens his eyes, all he can see is a bright orange light. He blinks a couple times and realizes that he is on his back, staring up at the setting sun. He looks down and sees a sharp, blood-stained rock protruding from his stomach, looking like a blood volcano just sprouted out of his chest. His mind struggles to come to terms with what has just happened, but his eviscerated midsection makes it hard. He tries to speak, but all that comes out of his mouth is a splatter of blood. It was all in his mind. No miraculous survival, no sweet revenge, no daring escape. Just a terrified man sprawled, broken and bloodied, at the bottom of a rocky gorge. He lived his life in fear, and it was this fear that eventually drove him to his death. At least the voice in his head is finally quiet. His gasping breaths slow, as the last thing he sees is the sun slipping beneath the horizon. Fear can make you do crazy things. Cry, laugh, scream, even kill. Right about now, it was the last thought that crossed Joe's mind as his brain seeped out of his shattered skull. I spy with my little eye. It's funny, the things one thinks about when staring dramatically out the window. Even funnier, the things we do. I stopped racing raindrops a few miles back when I kept winning. My mother was right. Winning at everything gets unbelievably boring. Who knew a car window would teach me that lesson? Trailing my eyes lazily over the book on my lap, I deliberate. I could read, but that would mean turning on the overhead light, and I don't want what's out there to see me any better than it already does. Besides, reading in the back seat makes me nauseous. Sighing, I look out the window again. Dark skies press down on the trees lining either side of the road, their jagged silhouettes barely visible beneath the moonlight. But I don't need to see them to know it is there. I can feel it, like the fabric of my clothes against my skin, like the weight of my own breath in my lungs. It's waiting, watching. It won't be able to follow us past the state line, not when it's tied by its grave deep in the very forest it now lurks in. If we can just keep moving, if we don't stop, my fingers tighten around the seatbelt, because in the trunk, wrapped in tarps, are knives. The blood on them should be drying, crusting over. But that doesn't matter. It won't be the knives that get us caught. It'll be it. The road stretches endlessly, twin lines of paint vanishing into the dark. The wipers squeak against the windshield, streaking rainwater instead of clearing it. The radio hums static beneath the commercials, like an unspoken warning. To whom, though? You see it? Bex asks beside me. Out of the four of us, she's freaking out the worst. I've long since put a barrier between our seats to avoid the worst of her rocking and jittery libs. I give her another flat look, hoping this one will shut her up for the rest of our trip. If I did, don't you think I would have said something by now? She whimpers and turns back to her own window, staring wide-eyed at the trees. I meet Rick's eyes in the rearview mirror, and Theo side-eyes me from the passenger's seat. None of us say a word. In truth, I can see it. The shifting shadow that vaults across the street every few feet before melting into the trees. It got so out of hand. It was never. No, we did mean to do it. We just didn't think it'd come back to bite us like it did. Is doing. What's also true is that Bex will not be making it past the state limits with us. She can't be trusted. The minute everything was done and buried, she broke. Broken things aren't always fixable, and she is one loose end we cannot risk letting go, or it would end. We were all screwed. Rick blinks twice. I inhale deeply, sighing quietly through my nose. This is part of the plan. It won't chase us past the state limits, because it can't. but it also will have no incentive to do so. It's why we let Bex do it in the first place. Theo hums and raises the volume on the radio. Commercials, figures. Rick blinks one more time. The locks click, lightning flashes, bleaching Bex's side of the car in stark white. She yelps, flinching away from the window. I take my chance, sliding closer and pulling her into an embrace. "It'll be okay," I whisper into her hair. Bex clutches at me, desperate. I let her. Everyone deserves comfort in the end. I swallow down my goodbyes. Theo coughs. I kick at his seat. "Shut it," my hit says. The timing needs to be right. A shift in the trees. Closer now. The weight of something pressing against the night. Watching. Expectant. "Do you hear that?" Bex whispers, voice barely there. "Like scraping." I don't answer. Because she doesn't hear scraping. She hears breathing. "Shh, nothing's there. You are just hearing things," I finally say, petting her hair. She doesn't feel me slide her seatbelt off or reach for the door handle. The door pops open. "Mila," she whispers. "Wait." Her fingers dig into my collar. She feels it now. The open air behind her. Too late. I pry her hands off me, using the impulse to send her flying out of the car. "Sorry." I squeeze her one last time to make the hard push I give her. Bex screams. Her arms flail, desperate. For the door, for me, for anything. Her fingers catch on the seatbelt. All in vain. She tumbles, hitting the pavement in a mess of limbs. I should look away, but I don't. It roars. I turn just in time to see it pounce on the prone body on the road through the rear window. Rick finally breathes a sigh of relief, and seeing him do so uncoils the tight knot of tension between my shoulders. Theo closes his eyes and smiles, whistling along with the song playing. The car feels bigger now, quieter. I roll my shoulders, adjusting to the absence. Something lingers in the air, something final, or perhaps something new. 4 down to 3, a new dynamic. Interesting. It's a shame, but change is necessary sometimes, and there is no better time than right now. Isn't that the saying? I unbuckle my seat belt and close the car door. Smooth, careful. I lean between the front seats, smirking at Theo. He rolls his eyes, shaking his head fondly. I kiss Rick on the cheek, breathing in his cologne. He reaches up to stroke my cheek, takes his eyes off the road, long enough to kiss the corner of my mouth. "Not a word," he murmurs. "To our grave." I grin. It roars behind us. Bex doesn't. We cross the state limits. I sit back. The rain races down my window enthusiastically. Would you look at that? I win again. Just 2 more hours to get home. Black and white. The boardroom. 32 students awake in a dark room. The lights flash on. 32 fearful high school students scan their surroundings. They're in a square room. The walls are lovely nature murals. The floor is a large, square black and white checkerboard. And they're in costumes. 16 are black and 16 white. Esther starts the confused students' conversation. "Oh, my lord, where are we?" Barney, the school's head nerd, is dressed in black leather and a crown. "How did I got here?" Johnny, the high school star quarterback, is dressed in white leather and a king's crown. "We, nerd. How did we all get here?" Susie, head cheerleader, adorned in a dazzling black sequined dress and crown, clings to Johnny. "We were all at Dr. Gilbert's party." Jerry, "Right. I remember we all toasted the good doctor's birthday." Jill, "Yes, I can't recall much after that." Billy Joe, "The punch. I bet the punch was spiked." Sally, "How did I get dressed in this?" Mark and Ken are examining the walls, looking for an exit, only to find 2 bathroom door. Mayview Police The FBI Child Abduction Unit arrives at the Mayview City Police Department. Captain Montaigne, "I appreciate your rapid response." Agent Joseph Klein, "What have you got?" Captain, "There was a party at a Mayview High School mathematician's house on Friday night that the missing teens seem to have attended." Sergeant Billings, "Sir, they're being live-streamed." Agent Klein makes a call. Agent Newton, "I need your unit to find this channel's origin. I just linked to you." Live chess. A placard on the wall reads, "Welcome to live chess. 1. This is a standard 12-hour game of chess. 2. Your costume denotes your position and side. 3. Your kings are Johnny and Barney, both well-ranked players. 4. Breaks are 10 minutes each hour. The teens are quiet momentarily as they read, then break into a confusing garble of voices until Ben, a well-known school bully, yells, "Shut up, all of you." They do. He continues, "Who the hell you think you are? I will knock your teeth out." A loud crack sounds out. Ben collapses and slides down a wall onto the floor. Blood oozes from his mouth. Screams fill the room. A door opens, and in walks another student, Henry. A masked man drags Ben back inside the door, then closes it. "Henry, what the hell is going on?" Overhead, a voice breaks in. "I'm the director and judge. I don't tolerate dissidents. Now that's settled. Let's begin, shall we? Take your positions." White on the wall's time clock side. The frightened, crying teens start moving into position. Sally crying and shaking. "I don't know where to go." King Barney, over there in the second row with Susie, Jill, Mary, Gary, Ken, and Mike. "You're all pawns." Voice, "Well done. The clock will tick down from 12 hours for each team. It starts and stops with each move. The winning team lives, or shall I say, those left standing will live." Kimmy, The white king-side light-squared bishop, LSB, cries out, "What does he mean?" Voice, the game is one of death, not of capturing players, resulting in another wave of mass hysteria. White King Johnny. What the hell? Voice, let the game begin. King Johnny, make your move. A dual digital timer on the wall starts counting down. W, shout 11.59. B. Opening. Johnny, the HS quarterback, confused and shaking, instantly decides pawn to E4. Voice. Johnny, they're more than pawns. They're your classmates. They're living people, at least for the moment. Brings another burst of loud conversing, screams, and crying. Mary runs, screaming, "I can't do this!" A loud crack echoes throughout the room. Mary halts, drops to the ground, and cringes down into a fetal position. Voice, Mary, that was a warning. Get back, now. She doesn't move. I said, now, Mary. Another crack erupts, and the wall splinters beside her head. Mary screams, then runs back to her square. Johnny, Gary, move to the E4 square. Gary, W, where's that? Johnny, 2 squares in front of you. The white one. Gary steps up to the center of the board. Barney, C5. Elizabeth, move up 2 squares. She quickly responds, that's right, the dark square. Voice, very good. See how easy it is to play and obey. Johnny, you're up. Johnny, knight to F3. Henry, do you play? Henry, yes. Susie, Sally, excuse me, please. And he moves up 2 and over 1 square, as knights do. Barney, knight to C6. Sarah, move behind Elizabeth on the white square. Johnny, Billy, you're our light squared bishop. Step in front of me to E2. BE2. Strategy. Barney, may I ask a question? Voice, of course. Your clock is ticking. Barney, if we capture a piece, what happens to the player? Voice, again, it's not a capture game. It is a game of life and death. Barney, the person dies? Voice, I think you know the answer. Black King Barney. Barney, what happens if there is a checkmate without any captures? Voice, the winning team walks away. The losing team, well, they don't. Barney, can we huddle? Voice, 2 heads are better than 1. Barney, everyone who plays chess, raise your hand. The black team's bishops, Tamer and Samuel, the knights, Michael and Sarah, and 1 rook, Matthew, raise their hands along with 3 pawns, Eve, Miriam, and Luke. Barney, okay, let's huddle and discuss our next move. No one moves. Voice, you can converse during your move. The bishops and knights slowly and hesitantly walk over to Barney. Barney, how you doing? Tamar, tears flowing. Scared shitless, of course. The others nod in agreement. Barney, I didn't want to talk about the move. I know the best move with Johnny's Sicilian defense. I want to discuss strategy. If we capture a person, Samuel, they will be shot. Sarah, who is this psychopath? Luke, his voice is masked and he knows us. Michael, a teacher? Barney, I think so, but our absence must have the FBI involved. So, if we can draw out the game with no captures, Tamar, kill. This sick will murder them. Barney, right, so let's make moves to prolong the game. Sarah, sounds like a good plan. The others nod in agreement. Barney, okay, good. Michael, let's play D6. It's a good counter to the Sicilian, and no chance for a kill. Barney, my thought as well. The teens shake in agreement. Billy Joe, Johnny is my boyfriend and aggressive in football and chess. He's good and will go for the win. Sarah, no, he won't. Billy Joe, what makes you think that? Sarah, you're on our side. You die if he wins. The players return to their positions. Barney, D6. Miriam, move up one step. W23.55.09. B23.50.03. Johnny. Rose, you're our king's knight. Move in front of Jill. Barney, knight to F6 for you, Michael. Michael, got it. Samuel, you're moving so fast. Barney, it's just the opening. We can slow down during the mid-game. That's expected. Bishop Samuel. Okay, that makes sense. He may get mad if looked to be stalling. Johnny, let's castle. Jill, move beside me, and I'll move to the inside beside you. Barney, shall we fianchetto kingside? Tamar, yes, good call. Black king. Barney, okay, Daniel, step up one square to G6. Next, light squared Bishop Billy will move behind you to G7. And then we will castle. Johnny, Mary, step up one to back up Gary. D3. Blacks, Bishop Daniel slides over to G7. White King Johnny. We're still opening. Our stance in martial arts terms. Bishop Kimmy, slide in front of Bishop Billy. Black King Barney and Rook Matthew switch sides to castle. FBI, Captain Montaigne. It has been 24 hours since 34 high school students were abducted. Dr. Gilbert's neighbors have only revealed that he had a large cargo truck that was heard leaving his residence in the early morning hours after the party, then disappeared. Agent Klein, Dr. Gilbert is a millionaire who does not need to work. He withdrew vast amounts of cash over the last few years and spent his weekends away. Where to? We are seeking to ascertain, along with tracing the video feed. We see the students are all alive, except one. Live chess has gone viral. We are hesitant to shut it down, as he may retaliate against the kids. Officer Dave. Yes, he shot one, and Celia is missing. Agent Klein. Perhaps not. Video analysis seems to indicate a scam, a fake death, like in the movies. He has a degree in mathematics and is a psychologist. Officer Gentry. A sick one. He is tormenting them. Agent Klein. Chess has 32 pieces, 16 per side. If you promote a pawn to the other side, you get a piece of your choice. Celia may be in waiting as the extra queen if one side promotes a pawn. Agent. Obviously, our best is to track his video feed. He is bouncing off dark web torrent sites worldwide. He is good. Our cybercrime unit is on it. We will keep you updated, Captain Montaigne. We will continue our local search for sites able to house a 50 by 50-foot room and use infrared heat sensing, although they may be underground. What's new with the West search progress, Kelly? Mid-game, Johnny. Okay, now we're in the mid-game, and we're at an advantage to strike in the middle. But I don't want anyone else to die, so let's just make a non-confrontational move. Queen Esther. Barney and I are dating. He is brilliant, uses his mind, and despises violence. We should just hop around. I can step over one and back up Bishop Kimmy. Rose. That looks aggressive, forcing a dark bishop trade, but we don't have to go through with it. Johnny. Perfect. Queen Esther. Step over to QC1. Barney. Let's huddle. Okay, my friends. It looks as they want to force a bishop trade and end up with their Q in front of me. Billy Joe. Don't take any chances with Johnny. He will save himself first. He will pick his team and friends over me. Barney. Okay, we can avoid a trade. Matthew. How? Barney. Rook Matthew. Step to the side. One for rook to e8. King Johnny. Good move by them. They don't want a trade or fight. The clock reads W23 Uzol Bir Suinti. Voice. Break time. A wall opens, revealing a large table with a feast of food and drinks. The bathroom doors pop open. One is labeled guys and the other gals. Break time. The young women gather. Johnny runs to Billy Joe, and they hug, as do other couples. Billy Joe. Oh, Johnny, I'm so scared. Johnny. We all are, Billy Joe. We all are. Barney. I'm famished. He and Esther walk to the snack table. Esther. I need to pee. Be right back. The Black King walks up to the Black King. Johnny greets him with, What's up, nerd? Barney. We need to work together and figure this out. Johnny. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. What do you have in mind? He takes the last bite of a hot dog. Barney. If we make a capture, the person dies. Johnny. Right. So, we need to move around, keep the game going. Barney. That's logical, but I'm sure he thought of that. Johnny. All we can do is try. Barney. Perhaps the cops will find us. Johnny. The FBI is hunting for us. Barney. Right. So let us keep the game going till time runs out. Johnny. Okay. We need not to let any side run out their clock. Esther. How do we do that? Billy Joe. Make our moves on 10-minute intervals. Johnny. Perfect. Barney. That's 6 moves per hour times 24 hours, which comes out to 120 moves each. Esther. Let's make them 15 minutes. Barney. I agree. That way we maximize the game length. Esther. Watch the clock and pray the FBI finds us. Upstairs, Dr. Gilbert smiles. Breaks over. Back to your positions. King Johnny, your move. Johnny. Hey, Barney. Barney. Yeah, Johnny. I'm really sorry. And I know I can speak for my football team. I'm truly sorry for all the nerd harassment we've given you and your friends over the years. Barney. Ah, heck. Water under the bridge, Johnny. Let's just get through this and let bygones be bygones. The two smile and walk to their sides of the board, both holding back tears to move to loose scenario. The black and white kings and their teams continue the game, making move after move without players attacking other players. After the 90th move, and with only a few hours left, Dr. Gilbert, whose name was still unknown to the students and video stream audience, finally spoke. Voice. Well, you all have been having fun, right? I'm not stupid, you know. I have been building and planning this game for years. Do you all realize that if this game ends in a draw or stalemate, in other words, when the clock runs out and no kills have been made, do you realize both teams lose? Do you understand what happens to the losers? Barney. No one goes home? Voice. Correct. Johnny. What happens if one person is sacrificed? Voice. The team losing the piece loses. If there's a recapture, piece value decides. Break time. It's pizza. W014506. B14609. The exhausted teens had stopped crying many long hours ago. Their mood devolved into hopelessness. Most feel numb. Their conversation was replaced with inward personal reflection. Life before this horrid weekend. Football game fun and laughs. Moments with their friends, their loves, and their families. Upon this new revelation, a lose-lose scenario where at least half will die, the crying and severe depression returned as their end was near. The physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted teens collapse on the checkered floor and devour 16 large pizzas. Billy Joe. So much for our stalemate plan. We're screwed. Now what are we going to do? Barney. Someone needs to be sacrificed for the rest of us? Esther. No, it's not that simple. Henry. She's right. One sacrifice means the losing team. All of them don't make it home. Billy Joe. Lordy, what are we going to do? Johnny. Flip a coin. The loser takes a hit. It doesn't matter who dies first, as all 16 will be sacrificed. Barney flips. Johnny guesses wrong. Henry. I'll do it. Rose is in a position to take me. FBI, Captain. We just got a call from Jerry's Pizza in Littleford. Somebody just picked up an order of 16 pizzas. Jerry said that was highly unusual. We're running the license plate run now. Agent Klein. Get the SWAT team in the chopper. Sergeant Newton. Captain, we have an address. End game. W000-100. B00010. Billy Joe. Time to make the call, Barney. Barney. I can't. Billy Joe. Tears in her eyes. I know. It is either half of us or all of us. Barney. Rose, walk over to Henry's Square. Rose, tears flowing. No, I won't be able to live with myself. Billy Joe. None of us will. Rose, none of us. Barney, angered. We'll all forever be haunted. Night Rose slowly moves up 2 squares over one and steps into Henry's Square. Oh, Henry, I'm so sorry. Henry. Rose, I volunteered. You're not to blame. Voice. Barney, you're up. Barney. What do you mean? Voice. It's time to slay. Barney. So, go ahead. Live with your cruelty. Voice. Oh, not I, your kingship. Barney. What do you mean? Voice. You as king chose. You as king follow through. Barney. I will not murder. Voice. You may have Rose perform the deed. Barney. I will not. Voice. Do you choose a draw? Barney. Help. Everyone. What do I do? Voice. Tick, tick, tick. Barney. Let's vote. A team vote. Voice. Ah, a king chooses democracy. How noble. Barney. Those in favor of a draw walk to the other team. Those who want me to murder Henry and everyone on their side dies. Remain here. The room, filled with stunned, angered, and crying teens, suddenly turns into a loud, confusing uproar. Miriam breaks the hysteria, yelling out, "Quiet, everyone, please." The room quiets. Miriam, well known for her environmental protests, continues, "I say, all of us. Personally, I could not live with myself, knowing I chose to be part of a murder. To murder any of you. I suggest we all join hands and refuse to put up with this madman's sick game any longer." Gary. "No way. We don't all have to die, only half." Sally takes Gary in her arms and hugs him. He struggles and then collapses, crying. Quiet mumbling now fills the room. Matthew takes Miriam's hand into his, followed by Rose, until finally 32 teens sit in the middle of a sizable black and white game board. Some have been friends since early childhood, some lovers, some enemies, for various reasons that seem silly now. 32 colored teens, white, yellow, red, black, and brown, sit quietly, looking around at their peers' multi-ethnic faces. They are emotionally spent, feeling their common humanity and finding comfort in each other. Dr. Gilbert sits upstairs, smiling. Millions worldwide are fixed on their screens, devices streaming Live Chess, awaiting the endgame finale. Breaking news: 34 students who recently went missing were found this morning after millions worldwide watched in horror. Live Chess a divisive game attempting to pit Mayview High School students against each other. The teens, previously at odds with each other, joined forces to devise various strategies. They refused the cruel psychopath's rules. Dr. Gilbert conducted what he termed a psychological experiment, and a success beyond his pre-game hypothesis of teen behavior. He remains at large. All the students were found alive. 1 year later, 32 students awake in a dark room.